The scream of Ophelia was all Alexander could hear, and because of that, he was running faster and faster up the stairs. He came in and saw his wife trembling. "Who are you?" she asked. He then turned and saw a young man in his briefs in that same room. He walked in, unfazed by what was going on. When Ophelia turned to look at him, it wasn't her husband who walked in, but the angel of death himself. Her husband had a sinister laugh that erupted from him. "I know you," he said simply. "Lorenzo!" he shouted. And at once Lorenzo appeared by his side. "What is this?" "Boss?" Lorenzo asked. He turned to Lorenzo, his majestic frame oozing a powerful aura that made his head of security shake. "I leave my villa for not up to 1 hour, and you let a useless person like this come into my house, into my home?" Alexander growled. "Young man, who are you?" Lorenzo asked with a shaky voice. The young man moved from the bed to the sofa, putting on his clothes one after the other. "I've come to take what is mine," he said, gesturing to Ophelia. "My girlfriend. We are getting married this weekend," he added. "Who is your girlfriend?" Ophelia asked, with shock written all over her face. "I have never set eyes on you before, so tell me, who are you?" Venom dripped from her words as she watched his every move. "Stop pretending, Ophelia," the young man said, rolling his eyes. "Look at the man beside you. He's too old for you, he can't do anything. But when you come to me, I'm young and vibrant. I can satisfy your every need. You have always had it good with me. You know how it has been with us, and it has always been good," the boy said with conviction in his voice. At that moment, it was as if Ophelia was dreaming and she was in an alternate universe. In what world did she ever see this man? And did they ever have a relationship? "Lorenzo, why are you still listening to this man? Get him out of here," Alexander ordered coldly. Quickly, Lorenzo yanked the young boy from the sofa where he sat and was trying to put on his clothes. He pulled him out with his things through the open door and shut the door. Alexander looked at the open door for a while with a smile on his face and a sinister look in his eyes. He knew exactly what he needed to do. He turned to his wife. She thought he had believed the stranger. "Believe me, Alexander. I don't know that guy. I have never seen him in my life and have never had a boyfriend. Not one single one. I've never had anyone talk to me in any manner before," Ophelia said. "Don't worry, my sweet Ophelia. I know what is going on, but together, you and I are going to prove them wrong." "I know that this is Vicky's handiwork," Alexander said. "No, don't say that. How can it be Vicky? Everything is always Vicky." "What if this is not her handiwork?" Ophelia countered. "Believe me when I say I know my sister very well. You know the way she does things. Do you think Vicky will sit back and watch you and I still married? Her head is filled with one plan or another to get me someone to replace you in my life," Alexander explained. "Even before you came, she tried to fix me up with some of her friends, but I'm not interested in women like that. All I'm interested in is you. Just believe me when I say nothing can separate us." Alexander looked into Ophelia's eyes and she saw the promise in them. He took her hand to his chest. "I swear to you," he assured her. "I believe you. But then why does Vicky hate me so much? Why?" she said, almost crying. "Just be assured that you have my love. You have the love of Dad and Mum and everyone else. Vicky is totally something else. I'll be telling you a little more about her much later," he promised. "Now that we're back home, let's go and eat," Ophelia said. "Of course," Alexander said, holding his wife's hand and heading for the dining room. Much later, when they were on the bed watching TV, Alexander tuned to business news and watched how his stocks were doing. Ophelia watched her husband as he kept nodding his head. "What are you looking at?" she asked curiously. "I'm just looking at the stocks that we have. Some of them are doing very well, more than I expected. Others keep going up and down, fluctuating, but that's how business is. You win some and you lose some. That is why I have so many, so I don't suffer any loss," he explained to his wife. She never knew that that was his reason for accumulating the companies, and she realized that those were wise decisions he made, which made her admire him even more. She also realized that he was quite a business wizard to have accumulated the companies, 38 of them. She looked at her husband again and smiled, feeling proud of him. As she was looking at him, he felt her eyes on him. He looked at her, and at that moment, he grabbed her and kissed her. Rolling on top of her, he kissed her even more deeply as she wrapped her legs around him. He grabbed her hands and put them in place at the top of her head as he plunged his tongue into her mouth, tasting her, savoring her. A slight moan escaped her mouth as he let his hands roam her. This was the farthest they've ever been, and she didn't want him to stop. She wanted his hands all over her. He took a trip down south, planting kisses on every spot. Whenever he lifted up his lips, her body longed for more kisses. He came back up and looked into her eyes. They were a darker shade of blue. "When I take you, I want you to have begged me for it," he said to her. His words were so raw, turning her insides out with excitement. He ravished her lips once more. When he heard some sounds coming from her again, he broke the kiss. "Alexander, do you want me to choke? You kiss me like it's a battle between life and death. I never knew kisses could go for a long time like this. I have to review my allowing you to kiss me," Ophelia said, trying to play a smart one. She expected him to touch her there and then, but he refused, so she decided to withhold kisses from him. He looked at her, his gaze turning very cold. "You don't dare," he said with a warning in his tone. "I'll take my kisses when I want them, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. I hope you are preparing yourself. That and much more will happen." "I hear you," Ophelia responded. After Alexander finished watching the business news, he turned to his wife and gave her a kiss on the cheek. "Good night," he said as he drifted off to sleep. Ophelia tuned to a movie channel, and in no time, she too drifted off to sleep. It was early in the morning when some noise woke Alexander up, and he noticed the TV was still on. He looked at his wife, who was fast asleep, so he turned off the TV and went back to sleep himself. He almost wanted to get out of bed early to dress and get ready for work. But then he reminded himself that he was on honeymoon. This was his second honeymoon. He looked at his wife, held her tightly to him so that she could feel him. She felt him and opened her eyes lazily. The poking feeling could not be ignored. "What is wrong, Alexander?" she asked, her voice still groggy from sleep. "What should have happened a long time ago is what is going to happen this morning," he said into her ear as he wrapped himself around her. "Please, Alexander, don't do this, not now," she begged. "Sweetheart, forget begging me. I need to do this. Did you hear what they were saying? So everyone believes that I am not capable of making a woman pregnant. They don't know what I know, though, and I plan on proving them wrong," Alexander insisted. "Alexander, not today. I'm having my monthly flow," she begged again. "It doesn't matter to me. I can do it anywhere," he insisted again. It just seemed as if the more she begged him, the more eager he was to explore. "No, Alexander. When I'm done, I'll let you know. I know when you'll be done. There's no need for you to let me know, and when you are done, just wait for me. I'm coming for you," he promised. She had a hidden smile, and she knew that she had lied to him and he would catch her sometime. But he planned on giving her time so that when he pounced on her, it would be worth the wait. After a while, they fell asleep again, with him holding her in his arms. They were woken up later by the ringing of Alexander's phone. He quickly picked it up from the bedside cabinet. He looked at the phone screen and saw that it was his mother. He picked it up immediately. "Mother, good morning," he said. "Good morning, my son. Are you not coming over today?" she said. "Besides, I want to see my daughter-in-law again. That girl is really beautiful." Alexander chuckled at the compliment his mother gave his wife. Then he remembered. "Mother, I need to see you concerning Vicky," Alexander said. "What has she done again?" his mother asked incredulously. "Don't worry, Mother. I'll tell you everything when I get there," he reassured her. The call ended, and Alexander looked at his wife, who was now awake. "I think we better get up now. They're expecting us at the family house, Ophelia," he called her. When he saw that she had fallen back asleep, he decided to wake her up a different way. He began to trace kisses down her body, and she purred at the contact. He nibbled on her earlobes, kissing her neck and shoulders. When he couldn't believe his luck, he decided to go further south than he went yesterday, and immediately, her eyes flew open. "Hey, who are you?" she asked. "It's your husband," he responded and laughed. "Is that how you wake up from sleep?" "My husband? You scared me, that's why. What are you doing?" Ophelia asked. "You weren't scared a few minutes ago. You were busy chuckling and enjoying every bit of what I was giving you. You were enjoying my kisses. So tell me, with the way you were giggling and everything, who were you dreaming of? Did you know you were moaning too?" he said, laughing again. "I wasn't dreaming about anyone," she responded. "Don't tell me it's Johnny Depp. If it is, I'll go get that guy and he will know what's coming to him," he threatened, and Ophelia laughed. "By the way, I only pretended to be asleep. I was enjoying the way you kissed my neck and the way you nibbled my earlobes," she said, but she didn't know she was making a big mistake. She realized it was silly when his response came. "Really? Then let's spend some more time," he said excitedly, trying to get on top of her. She pushed him. "Alexander, stop it. Mother is waiting for us. We should get going now," she said. Her husband groaned. At that moment, a knock came on their door.